Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the fourth Multicoin Summit. We really appreciate you all being here, especially those of you who've come quite a long ways to come and join us today. Thank you. And also a big special thank you to our limited partners in the audience. Thanks for making everything that we do possible. We greatly appreciate your support. So, I thought I'd kick off today by talking about an event that happened recently, a catalyst that we think was so significant for the crypto industry that it has created a new market regime, and it's going to shape how this industry develops over the next few years. Of course, I'm talking about the announcement from Chinese President Xi 2 weeks ago, talking about how China needs to take a lead in innovation in the blockchain sector. Not only did he recognize the technology value of blockchain and the various markets which it's going to affect, but most importantly, he talked about how China needs to take the lead in this technology and how this will give them an advantage competitively against other nations. Of course, the crypto markets reacted to this news. It was the biggest day for crypto in something like 8 or 9 years. I think Bitcoin was up something like 40% on the news. Yet we still think this was underestimated. Because this wasn't just empty talk. We've seen in the past that the Chinese government has sometimes made some negative statements about crypto, but as soon as President Xi went out and made this statement, we saw they're re-legalizing mining. We're seeing subsidy funds to subsidize early stage research and development in this technology. We are seeing legal frameworks being established in Hong Kong for crypto exchanges. And we expect to continue to see the pace of announcements for educational initiatives as well as investment initiatives accelerate. It's no coincidence that President Xi spoke 24 hours after Mark Zuckerberg testified to Congress on Facebook's plans with Libra. What they recognize is that blockchain is the sector for the new space race. This is going to be the new big competition to take financial leadership and help shape the future of the world's economy. Of course, the Americans don't have that fact go over their heads either. As you can see from Zuckerberg's testimony to Congress, where he talks about why the United States also needs to embrace this technology or risk being left behind as the rest of the world continues to move forward. So let's talk about some second and third order consequences from this announcement. First, we're already seeing this happen, and we expect this to continue to accelerate, is we expect to see some more regulatory clarity. We've seen other nation states earlier on, places like South Korea, talk about how important it is to have regulatory clarity for crypto and how they see that as a strategic edge. However, now with China going and making this type of announcement and investing this type of effort, energy, and capital into this sector, we expect to see other regulators need to pick up the pace and catch up or risk losing their competitive edge. We also expect to see a drastically increased amount of funding going towards the very early stages of research and development. The type of research and development that's done at universities into new cryptographic primitives that helps drive the innovation in this sector forward. One of the things that I've always appreciated about this industry is that everything is open source and everything moves so fast because of that. And so we do expect to see this increase in funding at the university level and the academic research level actually translate into real consumer applications much more quickly than you might expect in more traditional industries. Of course, at the same time, as you're seeing more capital coming into the space and you're seeing more regulatory clarity, you're going to see more entrepreneurs who are out to build products that people really want. They want to build something that is now possible that was never before possible. And now that they're seeing this as a more legitimate sector to go invest their energy and effort, we expect to see the pace really pick up for entrepreneurs entering this industry. Not that the pace was low before. And of course, last but not least, we expect to see education and awareness of this sector increase dramatically. I mean, those of you who follow crypto more closely might have seen how much the search volume for blockchain or Bitcoin went up after this announcement. And it's clear that some percentage of those people will then go and discover some of the open permissionless networks as well. And so today, I wanted to make a big announcement that Multicoin is now international. We've hired our first investment professional in China. Her name is Mabel. She's based in Beijing. And this underlies our commitment to being an international firm and really expanding our reach. Mabel previously worked for a firm called Nirvana Capital, based in Beijing, which focused on the crypto space. And so she brings a tremendous wealth of relationships, experience, and knowledge that we believe will help make Multicoin better investors. We really think that the information flow between the East and the West in crypto is particularly broken. And we believe that by identifying projects that can succeed in both the East and the West, that this will give us a major source of edge. We also see our ability to help our portfolio companies understand the cultural differences and communicate to both audiences as being a major edge as well. So let's circle back to what I was talking about before about how this is the beginning of a new market regime. A year ago, when we held our summit here in New York, there were a few big questions that we got, from a lot of people. The first one was, how will governments react to blockchain technology? And that was a big open question. But now we're starting to see that question change. It's clear that we're seeing major nation states embrace this technology, provide more regulatory clarity, and we expect that trend to continue. The next major question that we got from a lot of people was, is this industry in a bubble that's going to keep on deflating? No one wants to catch a falling knife. Well, I can't tell you how the Bitcoin price or the crypto markets are going to behave over the next few weeks or months necessarily. No crystal ball here. But we can say with a very high probability that the bottom for this market cycle is in. So that question also seems to be answered. And of course, a big question was, will institutional investors or big corporations embrace this technology? And that has also been answered. Since that last summit, we have seen the most iconic institutions in the world invest in crypto, such as Yale and Harvard's endowments. We've seen some of the largest corporations in the world start to invest in this technology, Facebook through their Libra initiative, including many other partners. We are also seeing major financial institutions like JP Morgan go and explore using this technology. So what are the new questions for this new market regime? These are some of the toughest questions that we think are not yet answered. The first one is, will people who learn about blockchain through some government initiative or through some corporate initiative actually end up moving over to these public permissionless open platforms? Or will they live within those walled gardens that Libra or crypto RMB will provide?
Next, we wonder, how long will the consolidation period be in the market before the next market mania? Crypto as an industry is structurally prone to bubbles because so many of the assets cannot be valued, they're only priced, and the price is very reflexive. And so we do expect there to be more bubbles and more mania in the future. And I think the big open question is, how long is this consolidation period going to be? And of course, which nations are going to take the lead in this new space race? What are they going to do in order to attract the entrepreneurs, attract the capital, and attract that innovation to their jurisdiction? So we're really excited to explore these questions with you today. We have a great lineup of speakers planned to discuss some of these topics, and I'd like to give you an overview of some of the content that we have planned for you today. Of course, we welcome audience engagement in all of this, so if you're not already in the Telegram chat group, please do join. Ask questions in there, engage. We will be responding through that Telegram chat group, and you can help shape the course of what we talk about today. All right, so our first presentation will be from my partner Kyle, who will be talking about one of our investment theses. He's going to be presenting on crypto exchanges and how they are the next generation of neobanks. We've been talking about crypto exchanges quite a lot. They play a big part of our portfolio as well. And so we're looking forward to sharing some of our latest thinking on how we think this value stack will evolve and how this sector of the blockchain industry will look in the future. Then later on, I will be joined on stage by Marcos Veramis, Managing Director at Cambridge Associates, which is one of the largest investment advisors in the world. And we will be exploring his landmark report that Cambridge published earlier this year about the blockchain industry, as well as what has changed since that report. Afterwards, we will have Adam White, the Chief Operating Officer at Bakkt, the NYSE-owned crypto exchange, being interviewed by Bobby Cho, the former head of Cumberland, which is the largest liquidity provider in crypto, and now the founding president of CMS Holdings. And they'll be exploring the evolving market infrastructure in crypto, as well as some of the consumer-facing initiatives that Bakkt is working on. After lunch, we're going to then spend some time looking at some of our portfolio companies and showing you what they are building. Earlier this week, we announced an investment in Arweave alongside our friends at Union Square Ventures and Andreessen Horowitz. And Kyle will be joined on stage by Sam, the founder of Arweave, to discuss the implications of the permaweb. So Arweave is a protocol that allows for permanent data storage. You pay once and you can store your data in the cloud forever. And we believe this is going to be one of the most important primitives in the Web3 stack. And I'm very excited to explore the implications of this primitive with you all here today. Then this will be followed by another portfolio company of ours. This one's not yet announced. It's Oxio, which is working with major telecommunications companies to provide an MVNO solution to do for MVNOs what Stripe did for credit card processing. So Matt will be interviewing Nico, the CEO of Oxio, here on stage to explore how blockchain technology can enable these types of solutions that really make the blockchain invisible. The consumers don't need to know that there's a blockchain powering this stuff. And we think that really is the future of how this technology evolves. We'll have a short break after that to give you a chance to go and meet with some of the presenting portfolio companies, which we have around the room today. And we will also have some special announcements from both Scale and Helium on stage. And then we will close out the day with our closing keynote which will be with the CEO of Binance US, Catherine Coley, who will be joined by me on stage to discuss Binance US's future plans, as well as what's going on at Binance proper. You might have seen, we actually published a report on Binance earlier today. It's a little bit long, so you might not have had a chance to read it just yet. But this fits in with our thesis from last week, which we published about exchanges and open finance, as well as the presentation that Kyle is going to be giving. So you'll get to see this thesis from many different points of view and be able to explore it a little bit more deeply. So thank you all again for joining us today for this day, jam-packed full of content, and hopefully this will help you understand a little bit more about how we think about the space and answer some of your questions.